Brooke. I wanted to leave you some feedback on Essay 3. So, as a whole, this is working quite well. Your tone in this essay is so much fun. It's sorry, I'm trying to think of your enthusiasm, right? The fact that this is a film that means a lot to you comes across in this essay. Or if I am absolutely wrong, that's the way that you sound on the page. And so, and tone is something that's so important because I think the reader wants to take this journey with you, right? So one of the things that's nice about this is like film reviews should be fun. I mean, they can be really insightful and detailed and talk about really important social issues. But at the same time, they can also be fun and enjoyable. And I think that you have a little bit of both here. While you're not really talking about any detailed social issue, you do have some clear insight and some clear analysis, but the tone makes the reader want to go on with you. I love this idea of the desperate search for simpler times, and I specifically like this idea for the desperate search of simpler times in the context of your audience. And then I wonder if that's something that you can incorporate throughout the paper more clearly. It is absolutely something that you need to return to in your conclusion, but I wonder if there could be a way that you could reinforce that idea throughout the paper with your audience, right? So essentially what you're doing here is you're making the assumption that the audience has probably seen this movie in the 90s when they were in grade school, right? And you're essentially calling the audience to give this film a second look as a college student, right? That perhaps they may have missed some of the cues and the themes that your analysis is picking up on in terms of archetypes and color, right? And the college student now would have a deeper understanding of those things because they've probably taken lit courses or maybe even a course on Greek mythology that talked about archetypes or maybe even a color theory class. So I really like what you're doing. And I love that idea in the thesis so much. Like I said before, I wonder if it's something that you can incorporate throughout your body paragraphs as well. So I really did not see too many issues here in terms of your analysis. I think that it's working well. There are a couple of things here and there that I want to talk to you about in terms of more formal transitions and the use of point of view. I'm wondering if the idea, you make this point about no prior knowledge of Greek mythology. I'm wondering if that idea should come up sooner when you're talking about archetypes and you mentioned some of those characters. I wonder if that idea should come up here soon because I really liked the work that you were doing in here, but I wonder if then jumping to color and then back to mythology is a little bit too jarring for the reader. So consider what would happen if you brought this idea up sooner. Just kind of play around with that idea in terms of organization. So the one thing that I want you to edit for, informal point of view. So you're slipping into second person you too much, along with, I think you slip into first person we, like we and our. Do your best to avoid that point of view. So here, if you want to appeal to the reader directly, I would, say the viewer, college students, those giving this a second view, just think about different ways that you can rephrase the audience without pointing the finger directly at them. If you edit for that, this will elevate your draft a little bit more, as opposed to there's something always kind of elementary about using second person you, unless you're intentionally using it in like creative nonfiction, or unless you are drafting directions, like literally, pick up, you next need to pick up the pen, and you're not doing either of those things here. So I think editing for that point of view will help this out quite a bit. As I said before, I really want you to return to that idea of, kind of begging for simpler times, for some nostalgia for this audience. I think that's such a wonderful thesis. And it's just one of the fun things about this paper is I never can fully anticipate what you guys are going to do. And this is one of those papers that just really gave me a nice surprise. Because the thesis feels really, really original, and it feels very, very much yours. And I like that a lot. So think about how you can absolutely reinforce it at the conclusion, but also think about how you could reinforce it in your body paragraphs as well. And as I said before, please give this a read for a second person view and informal point of view. I think that you'll be happy with the results. So I look forward to seeing the final draft. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.